overwhelmed by your never-ending to-do list? Like no matter how hard you work and how hard you try, you're barely able to keep your head above water, let alone get ahead. Do you feel like if you stop balancing your 1,000 responsibilities for even a second, everything will collapse? I've definitely been there. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps I use to audit my time and regain control and balance in my life. Time auditing is a powerful tool that we don't often hear about, but it has the potential to be life-changing if you struggle with time management. For those of you who are new here, welcome. I'm Sara Stilleke. I'm a scientist, and my channel is all about how to level up to become more productive and successful. So if that's something you're looking for, please consider subscribing to my channel because I release new videos every Tuesday. First off, what exactly is time auditing? Basically, time auditing is a systematic process of tracking and analyzing how you spend your time, and then making a few simple adjustments to optimize it. It sounds simple, but it can be absolutely transformative for your well-being. But rather than tell you about it, I'm going to take you exactly through the steps needed to conduct an effective time audit so you can see just how transformative it can be. First, I'm going to spend the next week keeping very detailed track of exactly how I spend my time. This is likely to be the most time-consuming and difficult step of the process. So I would advise you to pick a week for this exercise that you would consider average. Like not a week where you're taking a holiday or when you're working extra hours on a big deadline for work. You can do this electronically or on a piece of paper, but keep track of exactly how much time you spend per day on what activities. It's usually good to keep track of your time in 15 to 30-minute chunks so you can get a really accurate idea of how you spend your time without becoming too overwhelmed. So here is what my own Monday looked like when I did this exercise. At 6:30 a.m., my alarm went off and I woke up. I spent the next 30 minutes laying in bed, petting my cats, and scrolling through social media. At 7 a.m., I got out of bed and spent about an hour on my morning routine, taking a shower, getting dressed, feeding Milo and Chester, and making myself breakfast. At 8 a.m., I had a Spanish lesson with my teacher online for 1 hour. From 9 to 9:15, I cleaned the kitchen a bit, made a cup of tea, and prepared to start my workday. From 9:15 to 10, I responded to work emails. From 10 a.m. to noon, I had some customer meetings. At noon, I had to run to the store to buy some ingredients for lunch because I forgot/didn't feel like doing grocery shopping yesterday. So by the time I finished picking up a few groceries and making lunch, it was about 1 p.m. And you get the idea. By the end of the day, you can see I fill out my calendar with all my activities for the day. So let's fast forward a bit, and here's my completed calendar for the whole week. Whew! Again, this was super annoying and time-consuming, but I promise you it's going to be so worth it. Now that I've finished getting a snapshot of how I spend my time during an average week, I have all this nice, juicy data ready for step 2, the actual time audit. I'm going to take a look at my calendar and see if there's any trends that I see. First, I'm going to color code the things in my calendar. For things that are high impact and high productivity and high value for my life, I'm going to make those green. So looking at my calendar, I'll make these workouts green, these client meetings green, as well as my Spanish lessons because learning another language is super important to me. Next, I'll color in some things in yellow. These are going to be the things that need to be done to maintain the flow of my life and work, but that aren't as high impact. So my trip to the grocery store, that will be yellow, as well as answering emails and time spent on admin tasks. I'm going to make this 30-minute chat with my coworker yellow because although it's good to network and maintain those relationships when I work from home, it's not really that high impact. And there we go with all the yellow things. And finally, I'll turn the last group of things red. These are the things that are time wasters. It's not necessarily bad to do these things, but scrolling through social media, taking a nap, sitting in traffic, and watching TV are all things that I'm going to turn red. Awesome. The final step of this process is to make some changes and adjustment that will create more time for me during the day. And there's a couple different strategies that I'm going to use. First, I'm going to delete some of these time wasters from my day. Now, I know that some of these things are important to relax during the day and maintain my mental health, so I'm not going to go crazy here. But as an example, instead of taking a 90-minute nap here during the day, which was a little crazy, maybe I can set an alarm to cut that down to 45 minutes. Instead of scrolling social media for 30 minutes in the morning, let's try to cut that down to 15 minutes. And just like that, I've regained an hour of time. So let's go through the calendar and delete things within reason to regain some time. Next, I'm going to look at what things I can delegate or automate. This is where we can get a little bit creative. So I can see here that I'm spending about 2 hours per week writing follow-up emails to existing customers who have already bought something from me in the past. It's a nice thing to do and it's good for maintaining customer relationships. But am I really the best person to be doing it? I do have a colleague who I work with who's actually probably a better person to be doing this, so I'm going to delegate these tasks to him. Another thing I see here is that I spent about an hour and a half driving to the grocery store, shopping, driving home, and putting away my groceries. This is definitely something that I can automate. I'll spend maybe 15 minutes setting up an Instacart order and pay a small fee so that the Instacart shopper can do my grocery shopping and drop off all my groceries at the front door. Then I can spend about 15 minutes unloading them. And that's another hour saved that I can spend on higher impact tasks like having another client meeting, for example. Finally, I'm going to look at what things I can consolidate. Two things that stand out to me immediately here. First, I'm spending all of these 30-minute blocks of time throughout the week preparing individual meals for myself. Every single time I need to take out all the ingredients and dishes, cook the food, eat it, and then clean everything up. Looking at this calendar, I'm spending about 8 hours per week just preparing to feed myself. So let's consolidate that. Now I'm going to block out about 3 hours once a week to plan out all my meals for the week ahead of time and prepare larger batches of each dish and separate them into individual containers. This will not only save me about 5 hours a week, but I'll always know exactly what I'm going to eat each day, which will save quite a bit of mental energy. The second thing I can see as I consolidate my time is that I'm spending a lot of time sitting in traffic. It looks like I drove about an hour to visit a client for an hour, and then spent an hour driving home on Tuesday. And on Thursday, I also drove an hour, spent an hour visiting a different client, and then drove home. But it looks like these clients are actually only about 20 minutes apart from each other. So I can definitely consolidate this to see both clients in one day back to back, which will cut about 2 hours from my time sitting in traffic. So this is how I'm going to audit my time. Looking at my calendar, I'm going to figure out what things I can eliminate, delegate, automate, and consolidate to free up more time. Now that I've created all this extra time, it's really up to me to decide how I want to spend it. I can add more high priority tasks to my day, or spend more time with my family, spend time on a hobby, start a side hustle, or just relax and unwind. By performing a time audit, you're able to regain control over your time and spend more time on what really matters to you. When I did this for the first time, it was absolutely life-changing. Let me know in the comments if you're going to give this a try and what you were able to accomplish. If you enjoyed this video where I broke down how to create more time in your week with a time audit, you might also like this video where I discuss 5 ways to use ChatGPT to boost your productivity even further. I've researched some of the less obvious ways to use this awesome AI tool to improve your life, so definitely check out that video if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.